Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
What do you call a pile of kittens?
What?
A meowton.
Come on, Dad.
Meowton!
Terrible.
Live my life, painted in a corner.
You working?
Yeah.
This early?
Yeah, Dad. Stop digging.
You think we're doing the right thing?
David, I love you. You love me. We're trying to figure this out.
By the time
I'm listening, Dad.
I came to
Love is a feeling, and feelings, they move in, they move out.
darling, it already there.
Mom's cheating on you.
Would you hit me?
What's his name?
Derek.
Doing here? Yeah, it's so late.
No, I didn't get to say bye, so I just want to come by and say goodnight and I love you.
I only agreed to do this because you promised me that we were going to work through this.
You need to fight. You need to fight for us.
David, can you look at me?
This is my family. They're worth it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
I live my life painted in a corner.
I'll chat you your 2-minute warning.
Thank you. Very much appreciated. Hi.
Up, Adam.
What's up, Adam?
Check your emails, check your texts. How's everybody doing? Robert, how are you?
Good.
You look like you're doing that little press photo, the publicity photo. God, I saw that.
And accept my aging and take a new picture.
Yeah. And it's nice to meet you, Clayne. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Hey, that's what you look like when you're smiling. I had no idea from the film. I just
That's right. That's right.
Robert and I, we did this. We talked back in, I don't know, when was it? Last fall or
I think
summer?
so, yeah.
When it was at, was it? I'm going to say New Directors.
Yeah.
And then we were hopefully we were talking about maybe doing it again when the film was ready to come out and maybe include Clayne. So I'm so thrilled that it turned out to be the case, that we were able to pull it off. So it's great to have you guys back, or to have Clayne on further. And the film comes out on the 14th. I'm not sure you're aware of that, but it's coming out on the 14th in select theaters and on VOD. So
yeah,
very exciting.
I know.
Yeah,
it's been a long trajectory, I guess.
Yeah, and I did want to say, Adam, you and I, Clayne as well, but you and I, Adam, would know quite well how big of a deal it is that an independent film like this gets a theatrical release.
Right. Sure.
And so it's really very exciting to have this opportunity to have it in theaters. I'm beyond myself, I'll say that.
Well, I think this one does this, not that others don't, but I mean, this is deserving of I think a lot of people should see the movie. I think it's a really strong, old-fashioned sort of, suspenseful, dramatic film with great performances, if I can say so. And I was glad to have. I'm just thrilled that it's a lot more people get a chance to see it, and you've got a great distributor with Neon.
Yeah.
So remind me now how you came to, first of all, Clayne, you are not only one of the lead actors in this movie, but you also are one of the producers on the film.
Yeah. Robert and I have been trying to make a film for quite some time.
Okay.
And yeah, we were having trouble getting resources, anyone to kind of back us. So I went to my wife and I just say, look, why don't we take a little bit of cash? And I honestly, I don't know. And Robert can, he may have felt differently. I don't know if I went into this thinking that we were going to make a feature that everyone was going to see necessarily. I almost kind of, because we had, I was like, look, if I've got like anywhere from 40 to 50 grand, let's just go shoot something and almost let it be a kind of a calling card for Robert and I on what we can accomplish together. And then if we had success, kind of be able to say, well, if you give us real resources, I may imagine what we can accomplish. And it certainly far exceeded my expectations.
Right. Well, it's like, it's a movie that in another time, I mean, would have been a big Hollywood, could have been a big Hollywood movie. It has that kind of dramatic tension and a great script. And again, it's just, people are going to love it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not intense and at times very difficult, especially if you've gone through, a separation with, or the family breaks up. It's very painful, very painful. So the film really gets pretty honest and raw, if I can say that too. But at the same time, this is the production of it. It just feels like a real solid old-fashioned movie too. And there's not enough of them, which is what I'm getting at.
I think we agree, and I think that was part of the reason why we wanted to tell these. I think, the way we receive content continues to shift and change. And I find, for me personally, if I'm going to watch a film, I just want it to be a simple story. Otherwise I want it to be in long form. I want it to be 6 to 10 episodes, right? Right. Yeah, I do. And I want to be able to, and it's all in a design to have a true connection with the characters. And I think that if you're going to do that in a film, you got to have to follow. I think Robert had a really great structure, which was, we're just going to follow this guy and we're going to live inside him so that we truly understand what's happening. And I think that was exciting, that it wasn't a complicated story. It was very clean, right, as it related to beginning, middle, and end.
Your character David is really on the precipice of, we don't know. So we're experiencing it almost in real time with David. We don't know where this situation, this painful, stressful situation is going to take him. We just don't know, and he doesn't know. So it's.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I think it's the uncertainty, and that's what was so exciting when I read the material for the first time, was opening a film at that point where it doesn't matter why they're broken up. It doesn't matter what caused this rift, which has created the drift. It's just, we know that it's been pushed to the brink, right? And I think that is very exciting, that, as you kind of suggested, we're on this journey with David, and he's discovering things as the audience is. And to me, you don't see enough of that anymore in storytelling. I think that's what's great about Robert's style, is very rarely is it nowadays you can watch a film and not know exactly the direction it's going. Mm-hmm. And with Robert's storytelling, I never know. And that's extremely exciting.
Robert's has been just, do you feel like this movie is had a serendipitous journey, or has it really been difficult? I mean, it feels like, Sundance, I mean, Neon, this seems like kind of a really great journey from my perspective, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of what most filmmakers want to happen to their films when they make them, and they get some great actors in there.
It's really an unbelievable circumstance, and I agree with you, Adam. It is what you hope for as a filmmaker, that these things occur. My pause is only, after Sundance was such an unreal kind of experience. that I was excited for an opportunity. Of course, you know, normally as a filmmaker, you get to travel to a couple other festivals where your film will be screened and you get this engagement with the audience, which is really an experience that's neat. And I, at one point, was kind of, you know, being, oh man, like I was excited. And then a friend of mine had her film premiere at South by and was like, we didn't even get an in-person screening. What the hell are you complaining about? And that grounded me.
For people who don't know, Sundance was the beginning and the end of the festival season last year. So
yeah. So that grounded me, obviously, in gratitude that we had an opportunity to sit with an audience and watch their response and know, as Clayne had said earlier, some of these risks that we took that were against recommendations were paying off, and that we were watching an audience experience and have empathy. So that was really exciting. And then when Neon purchased the film, there was a similar discussion. I mean, we were going to release in February, and of course theaters weren't open then, and it was really a plan to just put it out on the streaming services, which of course I was grateful for, but disappointed, because I really felt like that I had made a film that needed to be in cinemas. You know, the wider shots, to see that on a 40-foot screen, there's value in that. And the sound design being all, you know, we weren't able to record or to mix in Atmos. If we had the budget, we probably would, because Peter approached the sound design in that very visceral way. So when Neon pushed it to May, I was again very, very excited and very thankful that audiences will be able to experience it. And again, the Coen brothers have said, you know, in an article I read, you know, everyone experienced our movie on at home. You know, rarely do people see it in theaters. So it's hard for me to ever have a allegiance to either one, but I just feel so grateful that people will get to see it in theaters.
Yeah, well, they had the benefit of both. I mean, you know, they make great movies, so they have the benefit of opening in the theaters and then having this other entire lifespan, and generations of people discovering it then after, you know, on streaming platforms or whatever, cable and etc. Clayne, you mentioned before you guys have been looking for a project. How long have you guys known each other? How did you guys know each other and meet up? And
yeah, we met in and I continue saying that we met in 2009 up in Sundance, but we actually didn't meet each other at the festival. Robert reached out to my reps, and we just so happened to have seen one another's films.
Okay.
So I was aware of Robert when he reached out, and then I met him and at that time, his directing partner, Rod. We met in LA, and he had this great script that he had written. And as I said before, it was that journey of trying to go down that traditional path of, you know, find someone that's going to support the film and to give us the resources to kind of go out and show what we're capable of. But more grateful I could not be. You know, sometimes the most challenging experience is the most rewarding. And that was, again, kind of having that freedom to explore this, only using our hearts without having any kind of outside influence, which is so very rare, you know, that you get to do it, that you get as a filmmaker or as an actor.
Does it look like you get? Oh, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Okay, good. Are you getting? Is it looking good for getting some of your investment back? It must be, at least. That was tacky. It's a tacky question. I apologize, but you are a producer. You brought up
Adam. Everyone has to pay their bills. And look, I think it's a sign of success, especially in Hollywood, if you're able to, you know, double your money. And I think for Robert and I, just to have someone like Neon appreciate the film and to give it a life after the festivals, that was the most rewarding thing for us. Because, you know, as you said, even now, so more than today, I don't know many films outside of the Blair Witch Project that were made for under 50 grand that had a theatrical release. So even with COVID and everything that's happened, I think it's even more impressive that the film's getting a release. And as Robert kind of said, we're just, you know, our cup runneth over, sure.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to add, Adam, you know, that you alluded to earlier, you know, there's this risk at losing an aspect of storytelling theatrically, as, you know, a Marvel movie makes $1 billion in a month. that's very challenging to then try and go to a studio and be like, hey, invest in this movie that will, you know, make maybe $30 million over 6 months. And so I think it becomes critical. You know, one of the things that I had hoped, you know, I understand where studios and investors come from, but they also need to see the value. And so I think there's an aspect that I hope anyways, that Clayne and I made this film for such little money. And my hope and dream anyways, is that it can do well theatrically in a way of saying like, hey, these stories are actually like, people do want to hear them. I'm sorry they won't make $1 billion in one month. You know, like Parasite's didn't make $1 billion in a month, but we still need the stories. It's like you can eat jelly beans and ice cream all day long, but the reality is, right, you do at times need to eat your vegetables and, you know, and your meats, because that and so it allows, there's some social discourse that kind of needs to happen, you know, and cinema is you go and you sit in a dark room and you sit next to strangers and you laugh and you cry together, and all of a sudden you walk out of the theater with more empathy and more understanding for one another, even if our circumstances are not the same. You know, maybe you're happily married. You know, my parents have been happily married for 50 years. They didn't walk into this movie being like, or walk out of this movie being like, I didn't get it, didn't relate to me, right? All of a sudden, there's there's an aspect of empathy for people that are actually, you know, struggling to work through their marriage, and all of a sudden you
and I think that you know, it's why I think Nomadland has connected with a lot of people too. Same kind of
same thing.
So how many theaters are we talking about? Do we know? Or is that a question for you?
I think we're opening in 30 plus theaters opening weekend, and there's going to be a slow rollout.
Yeah. And then we get to be in Australia and Europe as well, which is also really exciting. I think Australia is a little bit later because I'm getting some emails from Australians being like, when can we get to see it? And I think June, early June.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to say 30 theaters. I think that's 35 cities, right?
35 cities. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Makes more sense.
So that could be easily hundreds of theaters.
Yeah.
Thousands. What?
I hope. I'm hoping it will slowly roll out. You know, I was living in North Platte.
I'm going to get the theater list. Getting messages. So thank you. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying I was in theaters or living in North Platte, Nebraska when Titanic came out, and there was a line around the theater that went down the street of people kind of waiting to kind of see that film. And while I'm aware we're not Titanic, I say that in hoping in my dream that the film will play in North Platte, Nebraska at some point. That's my dream, that the rollout itself will hit these smaller towns, because it really is a story for them. You know. Yeah. I mean, Kanosh is 350 people. North Platte is 22,000, but I think they will connect with the representation.
I think that's true, and I think that people are being told, you know, you need to escape, and well, first of all, that doesn't just mean capes and tights. You can escape into a dramatic film as much as any other kind of film. So that's just a lie or misdirection anyway. So you can see a film. I was completely escaping into The Killing of Two Lovers, and I felt like nourished after I saw it. So there you go. So, you know, and it's great to have choice, you know, everywhere, not just in big cities, but everywhere, you know. Again, the name of the film is called The Killing of Two Lovers, and directed by Robert Machoian, and starring among its lead cast is Clayne Crawford. And I don't want to butcher the actor's name who plays your wife, Sepideh. How do you pronounce her name?
Sepideh Moffey.
Sepideh Moffey.
Mm-hmm.
also terrific in it, and she plays Nikki, or what, the wife. And I was going to get to the kids, but I think we got to run out of. There's always a bunch of kids. Most of them are usually Roberts in the movie, but I think they're getting too old now to play such little kids. I don't know. Are any of those kids yours?
Yeah, the three of them are mine, and they're getting older to play kids, but they are asking me to write a Stand By Me. They're ready for like the next iteration for them. So yeah, there's a charge for you. Hey Dad, can you write a Stand By Me so we can be in that type of.
They saw Stand By Me and to know to refer to it. That's terrific. So you're showing them great movies. All right.
Of course.
And Adam, don't worry. We've got them smoking cigarettes. It's gonna stunt their growth. We should get at least another 5 years out of them.
All right, River Phoenix. All right, guys. I'm sorry we got to do something sometime down the road again, but I appreciate being able to let some of the people who watch me. Okay, but I know you guys got to move on to some other hungry interviewers.
Well, thank you, Adam.
Anytime. My pleasure. All righty.